Hey guys, how's it going? So today I have something pretty cool to show you guys. I'm going to fight all of the champions on Oldschool Runescape besides Lesser Demon because I already killed that one and I didn't get it recorded because it was a very long time ago, but going to be killing 9 of the 10 champions and also the final human champion after that you can fight after you kill all the other champions. And I'm just going to show you guys what it looks like to complete all of the champions challenges. So I'm going to do them one at a time because it is possible to actually drop the scroll in the middle of the fight and then pick it up after the fight and keep it. And I kind of would like to keep all the scrolls just because I can, and it would look kind of nice, you know, at the top of my completionist tab and in my bank. So I'm just going to start off in ascending order, start with Imp and go all the way up as far as combat level, and do Joker last. So I'm just going to go through all the fights, show you guys the champions and what it looks like, and I'll show you guys the rewards afterwards. Alright, so the first fight is Imp, and for this one you're not allowed to use special attacks, so basically standard fight, and the Imp is level 14, the Imp champion, and uses a ranged attack if far away, and I think it melees if you're close up, though it may actually just be ranging the whole entire time. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's kind of a cool looking little Imp, very easy to kill, 160 Slayer XP and 160 hit points XP. Next up is the Goblin champion, and for this one you can only use magic attacks, so I had to bring my trident with me, and went down into the fight. And it's a pretty interesting looking goblin. It's like a goblin shaman kind of. It has a staff and is casting this weird looking version of Earth Wave, I guess it is. So I killed it with my trident, and unfortunately, if you pay close attention to what is in my inventory, I forgot to drop the champion scroll. And so after killing this champion and getting my amazing 128 Slayer XP and hit points XP, I lost my goblin champion scroll, which is kind of annoying. That was just stupid. So rip the goblin scroll, but oh well. Next was the skeleton champion, and for this one you can only use range attacks, so I had to bring my blowpipe for this. And the skeleton champion itself actually looks really cool in my opinion. It's one of my favorites. It's got almost this like samurai looking armor on, but it's wielding a bow, which is really interesting. But its arrows look really cool too. It almost looks like it's firing 2 arrows that are kind of like attached to each other or something, or maybe it's just a really big arrow. But anyways, I blowpiped this one down and killed it pretty easily because it is only level 40, so pretty much all the champions are extremely easy to kill, and this one gives you 232 Slayer and hit points XP. Next up is the zombie champion, and for this one you're not allowed to use magic attacks, so it wasn't really any different than any others. It's missing its left arm, and other than that it's kind of just a big zombie, so it's not extremely interesting looking, but still kind of cool looking, and killed it down pretty quickly. And from this one I got 240 Slayer and hit points experience. Next was the Hill Giant champion, and for this one you can only use melee attacks, so once again not an issue. And it's actually a pretty cool looking NPC. It's got this big tree trunk as its weapon, which I thought was really cool, and it has these cool kind of tattoos on it. And it's got its blue groin flap thing and a sweet mohawk, so this one is pretty easy to kill. I almost forgot to drop the champion scroll with this one also, but you kill it down, and I get myself 280 Slayer and hit points experience. Next up is the Hobgoblin champion, and for this one you're not allowed to use melee attacks, so I brought my blowpipe because it's probably the best DPS weapon other than my whip. And this is actually a really cool one, and once again it has these javelins and this kind of weird backpack thing on its back, and it just pulls them out of its back and throws them at you. And it's kind of interesting. It seems like they've spent a lot of time actually developing all these monsters and stuff that are only ever going to be fought once per player, and very rarely are going to be fought at all. But anyways, 232 Slayer and hit points XP, not too bad. Next is the Ghoul champion, and for this one you're only allowed to use weapons, so you can't bring any armor or items in your inventory whatsoever. You can only take your weapon with you, which is kind of interesting. Still easy obviously, but I did have to temporarily drop the jewelry in my inventory to be able to actually fight the champion. But yeah, the champion of ghouls is actually pretty interesting. It uses a ranged attack, and actually has some armor on and stuff, and has this club thing that seems to be able to throw skulls from the club or something like that. I don't know, it's kind of odd, but yeah, it was a pretty easy fight once again. And when you kill it, you get 400 Slayer and hit points experience. And next up is the Earth Warrior champion, and this was actually the last scroll that I got, but it wasn't the absolute highest level monster, so it's the second last one. But the Earth Warrior champion is, I guess, not too interesting looking. It's just an Earth Warrior with a bit extra coloring and a shield, unlike the ones down in the Edgewood dungeon have. But yeah, you can't use prayers on this one, so I quickly discovered that because I was actually planning to flick piety. But yeah, it was still a pretty easy fight, and after you kill this guy you get 432 Slayer and hit points experience. And the last one before the human champion is the Joker champion, and for this one you're not allowed to use any range attacks, so it was pretty straightforward. And I must say that this guy has a really sweet man bun, or I guess it's a man ponytail, but anyways, this guy looks like a badass, and I guess he's kind of the most awkward one because his movements are a little bit jerky and weird looking compared to the rest of them, I think. But he does still look really cool. It's just his stance is very different from any other NPC in the game that I've really seen. But it is a very cool looking monster. He's got this big club. He's got kind of a pot belly going on there. But all of the actual Jokers are they're a little bit lighter green color, I think. This guy's got a little bit more of a darker, like, army green color. And also he has a much bigger man ponytail than the rest of them, so I guess it makes him more of a badass. But took this guy down, and after killing him, you get 480 hit points and Slayer XP. And when you kill your last champion, you do get a challenge from Leon Decor, who is the human champion, the final one that you fight after you've killed all the other 10 champions. So you get that right as soon as you kill your last one, and get ready for the fight with the final champion. He is a level 141 human. Can't take anything in your inventory for this fight, so you only have your equipment and your prayers to fight the final champion. And he is pretty cool looking. He's got this kind of like trimmed, like gold trimmed mithril kind of look, but on his plate body he's definitely got something, some kind of insignia, and he's got this cool cape as well. And he has a 2H sword that he attacks you at the speed of a whip. So that's a little bit OP, but I guess it's like, I don't know, it kind of looks like a steel 2H, but with a bit more design and a cool handle going on there. But anyways, human champion, he looks pretty cool, and is a pretty straightforward fight. Just slicked piety and killed him down, and there is all of the champions completed. So after defeating all the champions, if you talk to Larxus, you can ask him what to do now that you've defeated all the champions, and he says you should keep a watch out. More champions may rise to test your mettle. So we may still have more champions coming. You know, there were more champions released later in RuneScape 3. There were 3 more champions released, and a like final champion you could kill after you've killed all of those champions after that, which was the gnome champion, and that's still the final champion on RS3. But these are all the banners that you get on the wall in the basement. That's the only real thing you have to show off, I guess, with the champion scrolls. You can have the items in your bank, and you have the banners on the walls, and they look pretty cool. Just one to represent each race. You don't actually get anything for fighting the human champion, which I found kind of odd. I thought it'd be nice if you'd be able to like sit on the throne or do something cool. But really, the sad thing about Champions Challenge is that it's such a nice and cool little I don't know what really to call it. Maybe distraction, diversion, something like that. It's a nice little thing that you can do. It takes a fair bit of time. It took me somewhere around like 40 or 50 hours to get all of these champion scrolls, and the rewards are just completely useless, which is kind of lame. And I feel like they could do a lot of stuff with this. I think personally I would like to see the banner imp the way it is in RS3, except you could only get the banner imp if you killed all the champions. So that it wouldn't really be, you know, like pet spam, like anyone who finds a champion scroll can get a pet. But I think it would be nice to have something to show off for killing all the champions, because it did take a fair amount of time and cost a fair bit of money also. But I figured I'd just show this to you guys today. I thought it was a really fun thing to go for. I enjoyed doing this on RS3 back when I did it, and I really enjoyed doing it on Old School also. It just feels really cool to get these really rare drops, and it was interesting to see how many of the different monsters I could kill per hour, and you know, just working on being as efficient as possible with them was fun. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all soon with more videos of a similar manner.